Hello, good afternoon, y'all. Welcome back to another very special episode of the Wilson Way Sports Talk podcast. We're ready to talk NFL. Got a big season coming up tomorrow night with the kicking off of the Cowboys and Eagles, excuse me. And with that, I have a very special guest to talk football. Someone who knows a lot of football, who thinks he knows more football than me. Someone who, the name is Wilson Way Sports Talk. So what better way to add your wife to the show? Welcome our special guest, Nora. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me. I feel like I was on your very first one.
I think so.
Yeah, It's been I was on the very first season, I think last year, 2 years ago. And now I'm back from my humble return, two babies later, and ready to talk all things sports, uninterrupted, live from our anniversary getaway trip.
Absolutely. In DC, no less. But first, let's kick it off. I know you want to go. You want to do AFC. I'm going to cover the NFC side of the league. Ladies first. How you want to kick things off?
I'll go first. So let's do. Like he said, I'm doing the AFC, and we'll start with the North.
Okay.
So we'll go back and forth.
North. All right.
So I'll do AFC North, and he'll take NFC North, and we'll go back and forth. So for AFC North, my rankings for them is Ravens number 1, Bengals 2, Steelers 3, and Browns closing out the division in the North. My highlights I would say for the Ravens, let's start with them. Can they finally capitalize and have a big, deep run in the playoffs? They had the woes of last year. They made it into game 2 with the, let's say, sad catch from Mark Andrews failure to catch, I should say. So can they bounce back from that? Can they make a deep run with a lot of their players intact? Most of their O-line and their D-line is returning into this 2025 season. So that's a big plus for continuity's sakes. And hopefully they'll be able to stay healthy. They have a week 7 bye this year. So if they can make it to their week 7 bye, get healthy, and make a long stretch with the remaining games this season, I think they could definitely make a big push. And we'll see if it capitalizes into a Super Bowl appearance. Next, we'll get to the Bengals. Huge news coming into the season is the signing and getting the deal done for Sir Trey Hendrickson. Hallelujah. With their new DC coming in this season, are they able to revive this defense and have it be super competitive into this AFC North division? Total team health is a big thing with them being able to keep pace with the Ravens. So if they can stay healthy with their big 3 already signed going into this season, that should be huge for them. I see them making a run, but we'll see if they get off to a fast start. They're historically known for slow starts but fast endings, but they're going to need to balance that out to keep pace. We have the Steelers next. My big thing is, will they regret signing Aaron Rodgers? I was of the mindset closing out the 2024 season that they were going to let Russ walk, develop and keep Fields, as he did have a winning record before he got benched when Russell Wilson came back from injury. Them letting them both walk, mostly the big deal that Justin Fields did sign with the New York Jets, and their first game being against the New York Jets, let's see if they regret it. I think that after this game will be very telling to see if Rodgers is the answer for this season to make a playoff run, because we know this is a one-and-done year for him. Or are they going to try to get that old thing back in a trade? We'll see. That's my hot take. Is it with 9 years? It's been 9 years. Can you believe that? Since the Steelers have won a playoff game. Winning record every year, notes to Mike Tomlin, but can they win a game? We know Tomlin ain't going nowhere. He's the 3rd coach in history for the Steelers, but it's going to be huge. And coming into the season, we also have the Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jalen Ramsey trade walking into the season. I think Minkah was a better choice to keep, but we'll see how that goes. And then finally, we got the Browns. I don't think, and I think you can agree, I don't think we are expecting a whole lot from the Browns this season. They kept three quarterbacks. Flacco is the starter. I think the big ticket to see this season is the pieces that they have. Can they develop these pieces for when Deshaun Watson returns? Or do the pieces they have that they developed this season not going to fit with a scheme of a Deshaun Watson? Do they draft a quarterback? Do they keep their quarterbacks that they drafted last year? They drafted 2 in Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Or are they not the answer either for the team that they built? I think it would be huge, very big telling to see in this season who is the right fit at QB. Is it Deshaun Watson? Is it who they drafted, or is it someone out there?
It's not Deshaun Watson. It's not. It's not Deshaun Watson.
It could be an Arch Manning. Who knows?
With the first pick.
But that's my big headline for the Browns. The pieces that they build this season, who will be quarterback next year?
Mm-hmm. Now, to your point, I love the points of the AFC. You mentioned Ravens. Obviously, they're gonna win that division. Should win that division. That they're definitely being the best team overall roster wise. But do you have them winning a Super Bowl or getting to a Super Bowl even?
I don't know. The AFC is stacked, and as we continue on through the AFC, I'll be breaking it down. I think they'll make a playoff run, but I'm not sure. I don't think, unless the pieces stay healthy and they win as a team, we can't ride on the coattails of Lamar Jackson. I don't think that's feasible, and I don't think that's right. Everybody's got to work in unison. Everybody's got to, the Patriot way, as they say, do their job. Playoffs, yes. Super Bowl, time will tell. Maybe that'll be a midseason review for us.
Absolutely. Now, as of right now, they are my Super Bowl pick. You know, I'm not afraid to pick them. I mean, I'm not a Ravens fan, obviously, because I'm a Commanders fan, but I'm a big Lamar fan. I think that's the one thing missing from his resume, really. You think about his success in his career. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and with Hall of Fame quarterbacks comes that expectation of a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? At least getting to one at this point. Like, I mean, winning one, obviously, you want to do. But I think, you know, let's start with getting one. You can't win one if you can't get to one, right? So I think starting there, I think it's his year to finally do it. I mean, he has, if you want to say he has pressure, I don't think it's just individual pressure. I feel like we do that a lot with quarterbacks. We say individual pressure. But the team as a whole has to play at their best in the playoffs to win. You know, Lamar Jackson, you know, I know we talk a lot about the Mark Andrews drop. You know what I'm saying? And not to harp on him, but it's like, it's a team sport. Football is the ultimate team sport. Lamar can't throw to himself. Lamar doesn't have to minimize turnovers in the key moments of games. You know, you can't have moments like that. But also, I think the coaching staff they have to be at their best as well. I mean, I think there's times when they sometimes go away from the run game when they shouldn't. You know, like I think about in that Bills game. I didn't think Derrick Henry he got enough carries, but also the Ravens they outgained the Bills and still lost, which is insane. You get a road game. You know what I'm saying? A hostile environment like Buffalo, and you don't capitalize. We're getting all those more yards than them. You make unnecessary plays as far as like when they went for 2 instead of taking the PAT, things like that. When you have to going for 2 later, which ends up being a Mark Andrews drop. There are just so many things where it's like, okay, like you have such a good team, you just hate for them not to capitalize on the championship winner that they're currently in. But with that, I do want to get forward to the NFC North as well. Great points on the AFC North. But with the NFC North, that is, in my opinion, the best division in football. I think from top to bottom, all 4 teams realistically could make the playoffs. All 4 teams have you know, very talented to elite quarterbacks. Now, if I'm going to go in order like you did, I'm going to go in order like how you did with your division. Who's going to win? I like how you did that.
We can do that, yeah.
Okay, because
that's actually kind of how I did all my notes. So.
Got you. Because I'm not sure because it's tough. It's just hard for me with the NFC North just because, you know, there's question marks, like good question marks. Not necessarily like we're going to see them be bad, but it's like, okay, in the NFC North, you have, say, the Lions, who getting a lot of guys back from injury. But, you know, there's the loss of Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. And in a lot of ways, I know people harp a lot about on the loss of Ben Johnson, but to me, the loss of Aaron Glenn is even more impactful. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, with the offensive personnel you have, I think Jared Goff, still a good quarterback. Still got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, whole crew, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta. You have so many weapons where like you still have the personnel, I think, to like where it's like it's not like, you know, the guy who's, I forgot the name of the duo who comes in, he has a hard job. Like, you know, if you can't find ways to get, you know, a great offense with those pieces, maybe you should be an OC anyway, right? So I more so want to see the changes that happen defensively. Obviously, we got Aiden Hutchinson back. You know, he's a guy who I look at as a comeback player of the year, maybe even defensive player of the year candidate because of the fact that before his injury, he was on that pace last season anyway. So that's kind of my points for the Lions. Now Packers, they're in the big conversation where it's like, okay, now you add a Michael Parsons, superstar edge rusher to your team, and you think, okay, the expectation now is Super Bowl. And my point is, I hold put on the brakes for that, because for me, when it comes to the Packers, it's like, okay, you add a great defensive player, a superstar, if you will, in Michael Parsons, but it's a team, again, it's all team sport, it's football. You can't just add this one piece like it's basketball and then think you're going to go to a Super Bowl. I think when it comes to the Packers, my question marks for them, okay, it's like, okay, you gain a Michael Parsons for that pass rush, but okay, is there adjustment for the loss of Kenny Clark as well in the run game? You lose what was a number one corner, even though he missed a lot of time with injuries. Jared Alexander, who's going to come in and step up in his place, kind of assume that role. Obviously, you got Xavier McKinney, the safety, who's I think led the league in interceptions last year. He'll be a big piece in the secondary. But who else do you have that can really step up? I know you got Rashawn Gary, big fan of him. You know what I'm saying? He's very talented, young edge rusher as well, veteran in the locker room and everything. But then offense, to me, is the more concern. Obviously, Jordan Love is a very talented quarterback. People put him in that top 10, borderline top 10 category. But I think so also when it comes to, like, okay, for him, turnovers. 11 interceptions last year. And sometimes his decision-making, despite his talent, can be questioned at times, especially in the first half of the season. Mm-hmm. That's why, when people put him in the top 10, I'm not opposed to it, but that's the one thing that kind of could leave me out of it, whereas the fact that, like, his sometimes inconsistency where the first half of the year is a little bit different from the guy who comes in November, December. Because he's that dude in those months of the year, Mm-hmm. So I think when it comes to that, it's that question of a quarterback. Can you show me a full consistent season and minimize those turnovers? Also for the receivers, this isn't Jordan Love's fault, but just the drop passes that can't be something that you deal with. Obviously, you have Matthew Golden, a first-round pick at a receiver in this past draft. I think he could have a very special year, and if he does, that could help him when it comes to being a Super Bowl aspiration team. But not just him. He's a first-round pick. He's a rookie. I wouldn't put too much pressure on just one guy early on. I think you got to see, like, okay, with these drop passes, what do we get from Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks? Obviously, Christian Watson's out with the ACL injury. Who's going to make up those yards, especially with he wasn't necessarily a big-time receiver yet, still a young guy, but a guy who definitely space the field with his speed and vertical threat ability. So kind of, how is that role going to be filled, and how is that going to be managed throughout the season? So Packers, I say right now are probably the favorite to win that division right now, with the Lions being right behind. With my third, that's where it gets interesting to me, because the Vikings I like a lot. Just a roster, they're probably from a roster standpoint with a rookie quarterback, or okay, he's going to a second year, so to me he's a rookie because he hasn't started a game. JJ McCarthy, but as far as the Vikings, they have probably the best roster construction for a team with a rookie. So to me, it's like, if you can have JJ McCarthy just be solid, mm-hmm. I don't think he has to be a dude that say he does even what Sam Darnold did, in the regular season, 35 touchdowns and things like that. But if he can be solid throughout the regular season, minimize turnovers, that's the main thing. I think the Vikings have a very special season. They added Jordan Mason in the run game with Aaron Jones, so they got a little two-back scheme there that could be interesting. But I think just for me, it's like, okay. Also, you win a lot of one-score games. Mm-hmm. You think about how, okay, there can be regression from that point when you lose a lot of win a lot of close games, and you could have a young quarterback who lose a lot of close games as well. So how do you manage that part on both sides of the ball? Really? So I think that's something that kind of scares me about picking the Vikings as a threat for this year. I feel like they might be a year away when it comes to really, assuming JJ McCarthy proves himself, how does he, kind of gain that confidence and be the player they need him to be to win at a high level in this league? Because you need great quarterback play. And I'm not going to expect that from him. I feel like people put too much pressure on young guys now, because we've had the CJ Strouds, we've had the Jaden Daniels of the world, and you can't expect that, because people forget, it's happened. People forget how rare that is. To have a great quarterback be great right away. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to put that, especially when he didn't like to show that in college at quite the same level. You know what I'm saying? The Michigan Wolverines, they had a great team around JJ McCarthy. It wasn't just the JJ show. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something I look at. And then lastly, for the Bears are a team, I feel like as a team, there's a lot of pressure on, because of the fact that, like, you have the guy that a lot of people wanted. The guy, Ben Johnson, who was a sought-after head coach because of how he handled things and as an OC with the Lions. He was a guy everybody wanted, and the Bears got him. And the guy in the situation that does from this a macro perspective, it looks perfect for him. You got the young quarterback, got a lot of good offensive pieces, young talent around him to where like, okay, there's something he can grow with and build, hopefully a similar or better success than he had with the Lions, But still, obviously question marks when it comes to Caleb Williams. Can he prove to be the guy? I think he is from a talent standpoint, just being consistent, kind of minimizing those mistakes that he got away with in college that you can't get away with in the NFL, holding the ball too long, scrambling too long, things like that. But I think he's very talented. We just want to see him put it together for a full season. Obviously, that young guys like Roma Dunze, you got Luther Burden in the draft. So you got good targets. Offensively, obviously DJ Moore, who's kind of their number one receiver, who's just like everywhere on the field. He's guys who get the ball in the backfield, catching the ball in space in the outside in the slot. He's all around dude. Obviously, in the run game, DeAndre Swift, who can be really good, but I feel like sometimes inconsistent or they kind of fade away from him too much. I feel like he doesn't get the ball enough. Loves to get more carries and I take the pressure off a young quarterback as well. So that's something I look for. But as far as the division itself, it's tough. I'm probably gonna go Packers, Lions. Packers, Lions. I don't know. I can see Packers, Lions, Bears, Vikings.
Okay.
I can see a bit of a flip. But I don't think the Bears will be worst this year. I can say they're a team I feel like is like when you think about progression versus regression, they're a team I feel like they have the highest upside.
Okay.
Because I believe in the Ben Johnson addition. I believe in the pieces they've added. I believe in Caleb Williams as a quarterback. So I think in that division, as tough as it's going to be, putting the expectation on the road, rookie quarterback with the Vikings is going to be tough. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm gonna roll with the Bears for that third spot, and Vikings be last. How you feel about that?
I don't know. I would definitely flip them. I feel like a first-year head coach, second-year quarterback with more pieces to put together. I feel like the Vikings are a more established team. They're just literally a quarterback away, and they're coming back with a veteran coach. I would personally, I think the Lions 1, Packers 2. I'd say Vikings 2B. Honestly, I feel like third is an insult with the Bears at 4. Yeah, I just don't think that the Bears are going to have a lot to come out of it. They're definitely going to stay competitive in that division, but the NFC has got a lot of people in it and a lot of teams on the come up that I don't know if they're going to have enough to make a huge push, maybe a wild card spot if that maybe, but I don't see much more past that.
Now to that point, I do see all 4 teams making the playoffs. I think that's very much a possibility.
We'll see as we continue to go down. I don't know. I feel like you got some hitters in the other 3 divisions that could.
Oh yeah, all right. We'll
let's keep going. Let's keep going.
You want to flip to the AFC? What South?
I'd say South is next for me. I got the South. So start with the Texans. They're my winners in this division. I feel like they're the best of the bunch in the Southern division, but it's not saying a whole lot. Have they done enough, in my opinion, to make a splash in the AFC? I feel like they've done enough in year 3 with CJ Stroud. Will be very helpful in him building off of that sophomore slump in a way. But making a splash in the AFC, which is more important, I'm not sure if they have. And my big highlight is with the missing Tank Dell for this season after his horrific knee injury last season and him being out pretty certain for this remainder of this season. Will that hinder the team's success in a whole? Time will tell. I know they are developing a lot of receiving core, and their O-line is definitely getting stronger and better as a unit. But had they done enough for us to forget that piece of Tank Dell and make a run? Time will tell. Next up is the Colts. The Colts, honestly, I think it's time to move on from Anthony Richardson. I just don't think he's it. And no shade on his game, but he's been injured. It just hasn't come together. Now they have a new head coach coming in. Well, actually, I think this is year 2 with this coach. So can they move the needle? Can they do it? Time will tell. I'm not really hopeful on this team. I have the Jaguars next. They have their new coach in Liam Cohen. Duval. I had to do it. I'm sorry. I had to do it. But to my point, they do have a new head coach past the Doug Peterson era. So can he build off of what Doug Peterson could not? They did draft Travis Hunter. What side of the ball will he play? Will he play on both sides? What side will he play on primarily? The insiders have said it's more wide receiver than corner with limited plays at corner. I think right now he's listed as corner 2. But we'll see how that goes. And also this is a big year for Trevor Lawrence. He's coming into his 3rd coach in his Jaguars tenure. Can he develop and be a prolific key player on this offense and bring this team to winning potential? I'm not sure that he has what it takes. I hope Liam Cohen can prove us wrong. I hope the offense as a whole can prove us wrong. They have great additions to their offensive core, but this will be a year to see if he can be the person. I think on the rankings of quarterbacks, he's a 3rd-tier quarterback right now with 2-tier potential, but we'll see. And also the defensive play needs to improve. Again, Doug Peterson was brought in to help this defense. That did not happen. Hopefully with the new DC that has come in, they will play better and make a huge show in the AFC because they are known to have a pretty mid-tier, sub-high tier defense. So hopefully that play will improve because that will definitely move the needle for this team. And finally, we have the Tennessee Titans. Now, a lot of people have them pretty low on their rankings. I'm not going to lie. They have Brian Callahan that's been brought in to help shape this team and to guide them back to respectability. But we'll see. I don't have much to say on them, honestly. I don't have much faith in this team.
I mean, to your point, Cam Ward, I think he's that guy. I mean, the problem is I think you don't have much around him. You know, because I mean, the people again think about when it goes back to the quarterback conversation of like Jay and Daniel see this trial. Oh, can Cam Ward turn the Titans around? There's no way in hell that I see that happening. Now, does that mean Cam Ward can't have a successful season? Absolutely not. But
there's a potential. Like the wide receiver room has been restructured. They rebuilt the O-line with a lot of young studs. They were very heavy in free agency from what I remember. So let's see if they can come back to respectability and have a decent pass game and pass rusher. That'll be huge for an AFC team. But as a whole, this conference is known for great defensive play. If they can be great in the defensive line and pass rush, it should be okay. But I think the big thing is for the league as a whole and the media not to compare Cam Ward to Jaden Daniels. Yes, they have a lot of similarities, but if we are trying to match him up with Jaden Daniels, then this is not going to be successful for Cam Ward.
Absolutely. I mean, with that said, what's your order for the AFC?
My AFC South is Texans, Jaguars, Colts, Titans. I think as I was reading it down, I realized I flipped the Jaguars and the Colts and the Jaguars. The Jaguars are 2.
We'll say now going back to the Jags, man. Because like I say, I agree with you. I think it's a Texans division to win. I think Hugh Stroud going into his 3rd year. I think he's a guy who I believe is a top 10 quarterback. I'm excited to see what he does in the 3rd year. People talk about how his aggression he had his 2nd year. To me, it's more of how the team regressed when it comes to like injuries and offensive line play, which will again be concerned with losing Laramie Tunsil to trade him to our Commanders. But I think when it comes to that, Nico Collins, him saying how he's going to help out a lot. You got to figure out this run game. I'm not sure with the injury of Joe Mixon. That kind of scares me. When it comes to like, okay, you add Nick Chubb. I've heard conflicting reports about how he looks or doesn't look when it comes to season outlook. Like, is he still that guy? Is he washed? Things like that. I'm rooting for him. I believe he's a very talented back who suffered a very debilitating injury. So I want him to come back strong, but we don't know. When I with the Jags, I've been a big Trevor Lawrence critic. Wrote an article not too long ago for as guys that have a lot of pressure, quarterbacks with a lot of pressure going into the next season. Trevor Lawrence is one of the main guys I named.
That is true.
As Anthony Richardson was talking about Trevor Lawrence, it's just at that point now where it's like, people want to talk about him being like, that dude going to the NFL. Like I believe one of the best quarterback prospects since Andrew Luck, John Elway, guys like that, and he's been nowhere close. So with that said, it's like okay, and he's got the money too. You paid him a big money contract, and he didn't really to me show you enough to really get that. But I know how it is with the market of quarterbacks. Now, what can he show you moving forward to really think that's a long term option for you within this division, within the league? Mm-hmm. So obviously you give him a lot. You give him obviously Brian Thomas Jr. last year. You give him Travis Hunter, who's going to play both sides of the ball. But they're putting him. I've heard reports about how he's apparently starting at corner at wide receiver and will be a backup at corner. So okay, if you have him as a starter on your offense, and I thought he was a better cornerback personally, but either way, as a receiver, that's another weapon for Travis Hunter is another weapon for Trevor Lawrence to get the ball to and hopefully expand his passing game and be more consistent. I think he's had an issue with turnovers. Obviously, it's something where he just hasn't put together a really good season. I think since his second year in the league was his best season, but he hasn't kind of progressed past that. He's regressed actually past that. So I want to see really this to me is a big season for him. Obviously, we mentioned again with Anthony Richardson, it's unfortunate, and really what it comes down to me, it's teams fail players more than players fail teams. I mean, I don't think you should draft a guy number 4 overall who was a project. I didn't think that makes sense anyway. I mean, if you got a guy, and if you're going to draft him number 4 overall, why are you trying to have him start right away? And then
this has been my argument in the league as a whole, and I've been saying this point for years. You can attest as you watch the draft with me and get very, very frustrated.
Yes,
I don't think it's right to draft quarterbacks to start when you want them to be bring the team back from the dumpster.
You say it every year.
It's not possible. It rarely ever happens. Before Jaden Daniels brought us back to glory as a Commanders fan, whoop whoop. CJ Stroud, it hadn't really happened
in the history of the league. Yeah,
Andrew Luck tried. Mm-hmm. I say tried because he was riddled with injury, and he couldn't do what he was projected to because of the injuries. But besides that, there hasn't been much. Mm-hmm. There really hasn't, because we have gone away as a league from developing players, developing quarterbacks with top-tier picks to grow a team with them and give them time to develop before you expect winning. Peyton Manning was garbage his first couple years.
Forget that.
Garbage. He has the record for interceptions as a rookie.
Yeah.
But you know what? After a couple years of developing, he had an amazing wide receiver with him to bring him along. And you know what? They got the job done and got a Super Bowl. Why are we not doing this anymore? I don't understand, and it bothers me so much that we expect these quarterbacks to bring you to an NFC and AFC championship game in year 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. No, it's not going to happen. And if it happens, it's because it's like a Viking situation where you're plugging some guy in and hoping the pieces that you built around them and the young guy you're putting in there brings you to the promised land, that you're one step away. And that's my soapbox.
Are you done?
For now.
There you go. But no, I agree, man. It's unfortunate. I never want to see a young guy, fail like this publicly. You know what I'm saying? He still has a place in this league. I mean, we think of being a number 4 overall pick, he's going to get opportunities elsewhere. Where that will be, I don't know. I do know the Colts will be drafting a quarterback regardless next season. I mean, if Daniel Jones is your answer, what's the question, right? I mean, what are you expecting this year? They have a very talented team. I think they have a really good team roster-wise. Both sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? They got very good pieces, but without that quarterback, there's really just no way to really move forward and progress to where you're truly capable of being, and then to know where you're capable of being. So it just feels like they're just in that unfortunate, one of the most unfortunate spaces in football, which is in limbo. So that's what happens from there. Right, and next we're going to cover the NFC South. I'm going to talk first about for the Buccaneers, Falcons. I think those are the 2 teams that by far will be the teams that we will expect to be competing for that division. Ultimately, I'm going to go with the Falcons. I think Michael Penix, I do believe in him. I think he's going to have a top 10 offense with the Falcons. He's got a lot of weapons. I think he showed a lot of poise in the pocket, a lot of talent. He's an older quarterback, which I like in that case, because he's a guy who has a lot of experience at the college level. Obviously, we saw what he did when he took Washington to the championship and lost, obviously, Michigan. But still, he's a guy who I think is very talented. You know, he came in a very tough situation after having to back up Kirk Cousins and start over Kirk Cousins and close to the last few games of the season, nearly making the playoffs. I think they will make the playoffs this year, especially with having the weapons that have around him with Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Darnell Mooney, even Kyle Pitts, another guy who I think has a lot to prove. But I just think with that Falcons roster, they did answer a lot of good questions that they needed to fix from last season, with especially being the pass rush, drafting James Pierce, Jalen Walker, because they were one of the worst teams when it came to the pass rush and sack rates, all that stuff. So I think with drafting those guys in particular, that will be a very, very much a step forward to contend against the Buccaneers in the division. And especially in the Buccaneers' case, much as I like them, Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback in my eyes. You got Mike Evans, who's a walking Hall of Famer, one of the best players of all time. I believe 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. I will not be shocked to see him get another one this year. But just for me, that defense is a question mark. I think that they're ranked, I believe, 18th last year, pretty much an average defense. I don't see it getting much better this year. Bucky Irving is a guy I like. I think he's going to be in another role to increase his workload, as he's a breakout candidate last year. I think he'll take another step forward this year as a top 10, top 5 back potentially in this league. Then as far as injuries from the receiving front, you got Chris Godwin is still coming back from his ankle injury he had from last year. Jalen McMillan got hurt in preseason. He's going to miss the first few games of the season. So you got Emeka Egbuka, who I think is a very good pickup, a Ohio State product, who can come in and take some targets, but we'll see how that goes. That's always I'll say tough situation when you got a guy having to take over for somebody, and then when it comes back, how they're going to manage the reps. Well, those guys all back in the fold eventually. But they're a very talented team still. They're a team I think can still make the playoffs, but I think it's going to be tough seeing multiple teams come out of that division being on a playoff team with how talented the NFC is from top to bottom. But there are teams that do get forgotten about. I think that are making some strides that they won't probably make playoff runs or be a playoff team. That's the Panthers. With the Panthers, I think Bryce Young, I think if he can continue to take that step forward like he did near the end of last year, I think that was big for him. I think with the way the last year went, it was so fascinating because I think for me, and I don't know how you feel about this, is with Bryce Young, people forget they're very much trying to draft a quarterback in this past draft, 2025 NFL draft. If Bryce Young hadn't showed up and showed out the way he did after his adversity from getting benched and getting behind Andy Dalton, and then Andy Dalton got injured, he comes back to the fold and then plays lights out football the remainder of the season. Also having Chuba Hubbard in the run game, obviously, I'd like to work on defense, but still, as far as Bryce Young, I think if he can take another step forward with this game, I think the Panthers do have a bright future. Even though I don't believe they'll win more than 6-7 games this year, to be honest, because their defense is just so porous. But I'm excited to see what they do. And then, as far as the last team to finish in that division, the Saints, they're a team that to me is a candidate. They're in what you said, Arch Manning sweepstakes. Because to me, they're one of the worst teams in the league. They're just such a tough situation from not just a football perspective, but salary cap, absolutely. I think with this situation, you got a team with veterans that's not really going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a lot of young pieces to build around to kind of say you have a bright future. So it's like where do you go? What hope do you have? I mean, the best news they got was Derek Carr retiring, getting his payroll off your books, right? So I don't see much of a bright future for them in the short term. Hopefully you get a top draft pick in next year's draft and go from there. But I don't see them being much more than a couple win, 2-win team, 2-3 win team at most. So yeah.
And it's, just to add on, that it is interesting that they have new coach in Kellen Moore, and just to see what he's like as a head coach for a job that wasn't that desirable in the league. Like you had Mike McCarthy interview for it. I think there's someone else that interviewed for it and turned it down.
Was it Nagy or somebody?
No, it wasn't Nagy.
Yeah. But yeah, I do remember.
But there was another coach that interviewed for it and then ended up turning it down. And it was kind of like Kellen Moore was the last hope. And we didn't even hear that he officially took the job until right before the Super Bowl. So I don't know. That's a job that in a team that has a lot. I don't even know if upside is the right word. They just have a lot to figure out. But the fan base in New Orleans, man, they deserve they deserve the world, mostly with this year being the 20th anniversary of Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not a celebration year with this team. So hopefully Kellen Moore can bring that offensive guru-ness and build something into the next couple of years, because the Saints deserve it.
He better have a good prayer. And next, you want to cover, I believe, the AFC East.
Yes. With the East, we've got the Bills, the Jets, the Patriots, and Miami Dolphins. And that's my order. For the Bills, my highlight.
That's your order?
Yeah.
You got Dolphins last?
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. You named it kind of fast. So I'm like, okay, Bills. And I'm like, Dolphins last? Continue. I'm sorry.
You see what I deal with y'all?
I'm just like, whoa, go ahead. Let me get your point across. Go ahead.
Thank you. So for the Bills, this will be their final season at Orchard Park, for their new stadium is up and running next season.
Okay.
So before the move, can they make a Super Bowl this year with a reconstructed defense in the offseason? They've had so many new pieces, and this defense needs to take them over the hump, because I don't know what else can be done with this coaching staff and this team combination to get them over the finish line. The AFC is already tough enough. They need this defense to work, and they need their offense to continue to click the pieces that they have. And they did lose some pieces. They also have a lot of up and coming young guys, and you can't say no to Josh Allen. So let's do it. They're the ones I know that are coming out of the East, but it's a matter of, are they going to make it past the AFC Championship game? Next, and I'd be surprised, some people, I actually have the Jets at number 2 this season. I feel like the pickup of Justin Fields is amazing. And they have a 3-headed running back attack in New York. Let's not sleep on that. With a mobile quarterback in Justin Fields, I feel like is getting the smallest stick in this league. This man did not get enough time in Chicago, had a winning record in Pittsburgh, and still got sent packing. Well, not really sent packing this time around. Technically, he walked with his bags, and they didn't keep him.
I don't think Steelers did enough to keep him, in my opinion.
Well, yes.
But that's a different story.
But yes.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this. 3-headed monster at running back. You have a mobile quarterback. You have a new head coach in Aaron Glenn coming from Detroit. Huge pickup. I personally did not want him to take this job, because I want him to stay in Detroit, but that's just me being selfish. But
really?
I kind of wanted Detroit to have one more year of their core team.
He deserved the job. No, go ahead.
He deserved it, but like I said, I was being selfish.
Yeah.
I was being selfish. The departure of Aaron Rodgers was huge for this team to make another step back to whatever glory in the history of the Jets they had.
68. That's about it. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Nah, make it.
Thank you. Yes, getting rid of Aaron Rodgers was a huge plus for this team to get back to their historic glory. I love Justin Fields. I feel like this is going to really help a whole lot. There is a big idealistic mentality and just a team like vibe that they need to establish here in New York, and I'm really hoping that that team can get there. Also, they really need to work on third down turnovers and work in the red zone. This is something that's been plaguing this team for a while, so I hope with the new pieces and new coach that they can get over the hump. And I feel like if they do accomplish that, I could really see them making some noise in the East. Next up, we have the Patriots, who also have a new head coach and former Patriot himself, Vrabel. They also have one of the easiest schedules in the league this year. Thank you, schedule makers, for them. Yeah, thank you, schedule makers, for that. So hopefully that helps them in the win column. I don't see them getting a whole lot of wins. I see them as a subpar 500 team. I just feel like they need another year under their belt to get this done. And also, I don't think they have enough pieces to keep pace with the Jets and definitely not the Bills. And last at the bottom, hot take, the Miami Dolphins. This is a huge year for Mike McDaniel. Huge year for him. I think the writing's on the wall for Tua. This year he needs to show out or it's over. Trade him and his contract out the door. I love Waddle. Waddle away, waddle. And I love me some Tyreek Hill, Cheetah. But as a core, as a unit, I feel like this trio and coach has not made the noise they need to. And Miami gave up a lot to trade for Tyreek Hill coming from the Chiefs. If they don't accomplish something and make some noise into the playoffs, barring health, of course, if they're healthy and they can make the noise, they should go far. This team is built to go far, but I don't see it happening. I don't think this works, and I think someone new needs to come in and change the framework. The vibes are not vibing in Miami Vice. And that is my East.
Just before we go on to the division I'm going to cover, and the NFC is my favorite division. You said Dolphins will be last.
Yes.
So Mike McDaniel's getting fired. What you're saying?
Well, I ain't gonna call a man's job right here, but it's not looking pretty.
I'm just saying, if you're talking about the Dolphins being last in the division, definitely not in the playoffs, we assume, right? That's Mike. Somebody's it's either Tua or the coach.
If I was a betting woman, and I do sometimes, Tua's out for me. Tua needs to go somewhere else. I like McDaniel as a coach. I really do.
I do too. I
don't think Tua's and I'm not taking the health out of it because there's a lot of the concussion health concerns when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa. Oh, this first time I ever said his name perfectly. But yeah, I just don't think that this is the place for him. And maybe there's a different place in this league that'll give him what he needs and continue to build on the skill he has. This kid he's a good player. I just don't know if Miami is the place for him. But I really do like Mike McDaniel. I think he's a great coach. He works really well with his players. I think the ownership would want him to stay, but it would be under a short lease that he would have to work with him and his GM in the draft and in the offseason next season if this didn't work out this season to get this team where it needs to be for him to keep his job in the future. But I think for this year, if it doesn't work out, Tua's out. Tua and that contract's out.
Okay. We'll see what happens. I don't think it's a crazy take. I'm like, ooh, like I haven't heard anybody really say that. I think it's a very pressure year for him. But another one that kind of caught my eye, what you mentioned, is that people are really high on the Patriots. You know, obviously the easy schedule. Drake May, Mike Vrabel was the head coach. You're not as high on the Patriots as most media members, you know, people who talk the game are. That surprises me, honestly. You know?
I feel like they have a lot of gaps and holes, and I was under the mindset that their previous coach only was one and done. If he had more time, would have gotten a lot more accomplished. I hate gap guys. I think head coaches need at least 2 seasons before you fire them. But I just really don't think that this Patriots team has enough. I don't think they have enough, but I feel like with what's going on in this division outside of the Buffalo Bills, I feel like they do some damage, but I'm not high on them. I'm not high. I think they're 3 years out, personally.
3 years out. Interesting. Okay. I'm probably gonna be a sneaky good team. Obviously, they got your boy, fellow Henderson, Trevion Henderson.
That's true. They have
the Ohio. All right, calm down.
What? He's from the Ohio State.
I know. But
you're lucky I didn't mention him. I left him out.
It's because he has the last name, or your maiden name.
My name.
Anyway, I think he'll be solid. Drake May, I'm high on us as a quarterback. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I'm not as high on them as some people are, but I'm also not low on them as you are. I feel like I'm kind of in the middle. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I feel like we'll go. Time to go to the next division. My favorite division, not the best division, but my favorite division, the NFC East. Obviously, we're talking about our favorite team, the Washington Commanders. Shout out Jaden Daniels.
5 on them.
Now, obviously, you can't talk about that division without talking about the Super Bowl champions. You know, the Philadelphia Eagles. Man,
Saquon and his thighs.
Pause. Anyway, the Philadelphia Eagles, defending champions. They're interesting to me because, you know, obviously defending champs, you're gonna get everybody's best shot. You know, that's in any sport. But also with the change that they have on defense, I think to me that's gonna be interesting to see. Not that they'll be a bad defense by any means; they have too much talent. But they did lose. I believe 44% of the snaps of the players that went to different teams. Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, guys like that. That's a lot of talent to lose. For as far as guys on that snap count. A lot of guys that you're missing from those snaps that that you would love to have. Obviously you can't resign everybody because the offense is one of the most highly paid offenses in the league. So there's something going to have to give. The one mistake I did think they made definitely defensively, you obviously we gotta let guys go because can't keep everybody. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, that was a move. I get it was a cost-safe move. That to me was a mistake. He's one of my favorite. He's a guy I like because he's a dude who, if he's on your team, you love him. If he's not on your team, you freaking hate him. But I respect that though. Because what side he's on. He's got that dog in him. So I think that was a mistake. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, cornerback 2, you got to see how that goes. Losing Darius Slay. Quinyon Mitchell is a very special talent at their CB1 spot. So I'm interested to see how their secondary, makes that adjustment. Obviously, Cooper DeJean playing at safety. Also, with Saquon Barkley, 2,000-yard rusher, phenomenal running back. I don't think you're going to have back-to-back years of him having that heavy of a workload. Obviously, 350 plus carries, if I remember correctly. I would love to see, and this is not any kind of dig at Jalen Hurts. He's a top 10, arguably top 5 quarterback in this league, Super Bowl champion, Super MVP. But I think what's going to be tested is I think that we're going to have to force Jalen Hurts to take more of the load off Saquon. I believe last year was the opposite. Saquon took very much of a load off Jalen Hurts, to where Jalen Hurts. The reason there's this discourse of Jalen Hurts about being top 5, top 10, or whatever, best quarterback in the league, is because he didn't have the best statistical regular season. I believe just 18 touchdowns. I think just under 3,000 yards, if I remember correctly. But in the playoffs, he was a superstar, bar none. And with the guys that we think of who are these top 4, top 5 guys, they haven't, in some cases, haven't shown us what we wanted to in the playoffs outside of, say, Mahomes. Consistently. So it's like with that, it's very interesting to where I think we'll see this year, Jalen Hurts taking more of a workload to the passing game more than he had last year, and Saquon Barkley, I don't think he'll have the workload to even get 2,000 yards. Even though I think he's still very, obviously he's not. There's no slippage, obviously. I just think you want to run the ball a little less, rely a little less on Saquon's legs, and rely a little more on Jalen Hurts' arm, because I think he has the talent to do it. He has the personnel to do it. You have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. So I think that's going to be an adjustment. I feel like they'll make it next year or this coming season. But otherwise, they're a team where, I hate to say it, it's an uphill battle as far as who wins that division, as far as like anyone overtaking the Eagles as of right now. I was being a Commanders fan, but I still got to be unbiased. I think we're 2 as of right now. But we're up and coming. Obviously the thing about it is people have us as a regressor. Because we're such a surprise good team last year. Obviously, when going to 5, the NFC Championship game, all that. Our record as far as one-score games, think about 4th down conversions, things like that. Some of those kind of fluky things that could flip next year, and you're a totally different team. But I think to me, one thing I think what can happen, or needs to happen, but will happen. I think Jaden Daniels will have an MVP caliber season for us to maintain our chance of making the playoffs. We have obviously a tougher schedule than last year. There's a lot better quarterbacks, a lot tougher teams. But I think with the quarterback we have, I know it's only going into his second year. I think he's that dude. I really do. I'm not just saying it because it's on my team. I've stated before, I think I'm not going to put him. I don't try to argue number too much. I feel like people get so caught up with it if he's like, the guy's top 5, top whatever. To me, he's an elite quarterback. Wherever you want to rank him, he's elite. I think I can consider that right now. Rookie year going into your, going into the road, tough environment like the Buccaneers Stadium, Lions Stadium, winning 2 playoff games on the road. That's elite caliber stuff. You know what I'm saying? And especially with the caliber of talent he had around him, he didn't have an elite talented roster, outside of a Terry McLaurin to really get the job done, and he did anyway. So to me, I think, obviously, thank goodness we got Terry back. Signed this deal, much deserved. But to me, the big question mark is okay, outside of Terry, who can be a consistent threat? Obviously, I believe it's Debo, but I don't want to expect too much from him. I think he's a guy not in the vertical passing game. I think he'll get his shine more so just kind of the gadget plays that he can do. Obviously, coming out the backfield, things like that, screen passes, things like that. I think he'll be a great role. I'm excited to have him, see what he can do. He's very fun to use in Madden. That also the running backs. With us trading Brian Robinson, that was something that was kind of one of the worst kept secrets, I would say. Us being interested in trading, obviously, it kind of happened pretty fast. Is going to be Chris Rodriguez? Is going to be Bill Krosky Merritt? Who are we going to rely upon in that backfield? Because I don't really want to be in a position where we're relying on Jaden Daniels rushing the ball, because he's our leading rusher, I believe, last season. So I'd rather not have to have him be in that kind of workload where he's rushing the ball, even though he's capable of doing it. He's super athletic, but I just would want to see who else in that run game can step up to take that pressure off Jaden on offense. Now, defense is going to be also the talking point. I think with defense, obviously we're an older team. The defense, a lot of the pieces we rely upon on defense are older. Bobby Wagner, Marshall Lattimore is getting up there in age, but I think we can be a solid bend don't break defense. If we can do that, I don't think obviously we don't have any superstars on defense, but I think we have some up and coming guys like a Trey Amos. So I'm very excited about that. Ole Miss product, our second round pick, I believe. Mike Sanders still going to his second year. Very honestly, I think he should have been a defensive rookie of the year candidate. But that's another story. I think we have a solid defense. Obviously, I think we were missing that edge rusher, that really dominant edge rusher that we could have got in the draft. I feel like could have really helped us out. But we did get an old vet who I think could be very good for us, at least in third down pass rush situations.
And leadership, absolutely.
Von Miller, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl MVP, world, former Super Bowl champion. Excited to see what he brings to the team. I think one thing that we did last year is, and I know people harp on our team being older, but I think we had the right veteran pieces. I feel like, they built a culture very fast in a very short time span. That they put a lot of leadership around Jaden Daniels to where I felt he got comfortable really fast, and it helped the whole team. And I feel like we that's part of why we went as far as we did, because we had such a brotherhood of a roster last year, and hope we can continue that this year. But as far as the other teams, I can't talk about NFC because we got to talk about how about them Cowboys?
Cowgirls.
Dallas Cowboys, man. Now what can you say? And obviously with Dak Prescott staying healthy, I do think he's one of the better quarterbacks in this league. I think he's good, a great regular season quarterback, below average playoff quarterback, which is what a problem. Why, in part why the Cowboys go as far as they do. But they have several other issues with the roster. Even another one being added, being the fact that they traded the best player in Micah Parsons. And now, this is something I believe was a mistake. I think Jerry Jones. To me, I say long live Jerry Jones as a Commanders fan. He's doing a great job in my eyes. But to me, as a Commanders fan, but also as just someone who covers the game, it's just so clear that like he gets in the way, or he doesn't really value winning. Obviously, I mean the players make the mistakes on the field. Obviously there's no doubt about that. But Jerry Jones doesn't really value winning as much as he values dollar bills in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? When you're already a billionaire.
And publicity.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think the dude doesn't seem to be serious about winning. And I'm sorry, I just think that it matriculates down to the entire team. But like if you treat Micah Parsons this way, you're the best player. How are other players going to feel going into the season? I think that's very much impacted. I think there'll be a team that I don't see them making the playoffs. I didn't really see them make the playoffs even with Micah.
And they didn't really address the run game either.
For as being the running backs. No, yeah. I mean, who you have? Javonte Williams to be drafted Jaden Blue. We'll see rookie running back, but still. It's so many holes in this roster that you didn't necessarily fill, but then you just create a bigger hole, right? We're losing Michael Parsons. I think with that, who retired? Was it Zach Martin retired? So who's stepping up in that O-line? I'm not sure. We'll see. But again, it seems to be just a dark cloud over that franchise because it's been they haven't won in my entire. I'm 30 years old, y'all. They haven't won basically my entire life, and I don't expect to happen no time soon. So, I mean, not that I'm complaining about it, they're the Cowboys, but at the same time, it's like it's still disappointing if you're a Cowboys fan. It's like, what hope do you really have going into this year for really making you're going to go to Super Bowl this year, right? They're also extra optimistic, but even this year, I feel like they've been broken a little bit. I feel
broken. You mean their television?
I said their spirits are broken, like they're hurt.
Yeah, and their televisions.
Their spirits are broken. I feel like we're going into this year. It's like yes, they'll be exciting. They're on TV all the time, so you might as well watch them, right? They'll have an exciting offense. Stop. They'll have an exciting offense with Dak throwing the CD, George Pickens on the other side, but still, it's just hard to see much going on with this team. Honestly, the team that's more interesting, in my opinion, is the Giants.
The Giants have the highest upside.
Yes, absolutely, highest upside. One thing I love about when it comes to football, the most important group I would say is defensive line. Obviously, individual players, quarterback. You need a good quarterback, great quarterback to succeed in this league, and we'll see if they drafted one in Jackson Dart. Obviously, Russell Wilson starting the season, but I think hard to deal with. Not looking forward to dealing with that as a Commanders fan, but Abdul Carter is an amazing pickup. You got Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence. It's a very tough defensive line. I feel like it's what is going to make them honestly a playoff team in the future. Not this year.
Job.
He should be fired. Anyway, just because what happened on Hard Knocks alone, but don't get me started. That's a whole other pod. But like I said, the Giants, they're a team I feel like will surprise a lot of people. It would not surprise me if they're the third best team in this division. I could see that. I'm not going to call it right now necessarily. Obviously, I think with the Cowboys offense, I think it's going to be pretty tough for the Giants to say overcome them. But still, with that Giants team is going to be very interesting to watch. To me, they have a very bright future. They have as bright of a future as any team in the NFL right now. I think with the pieces that they've had and can continue that in the future. I think they'll be very interesting of a team that could contend for a third seed in the division. But right now, I still see Eagles, Commanders. I'll say Cowboys and Giants still as of right now.
Okay, I like that lineup.
Good.
I like it.
Oh, I thought you disagreed with me. I'm shocked.
No, not right now.
It's coming.
It'll come.
You want to go to yours?
And last but not least, the AFC West.
Best division in football? Outside NFC North?
I think this is the best.
It's my second best division in football.
I was going to say it's my best division in the AFC because that's what I researched, the AFC. This is my best division. So my order for this division is Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, and those Raiders. So start off with the Chiefs. What can you say? Like
9 straight years.
Patrick Mahomes. You got Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, if you didn't catch that.
Ooh. Tomato.
But staying with football, can they continue this dynasty and make another trip to the Super Bowl? They were disappointed last year. They did not come home with the ring, but
Travis did. Sorry.
Well, technically, Travis gave a ring. He didn't get a ring. He proposed. You should know how that works.
Continue.
Just saying, y'all. You should know how this works. But can they maintain their dynasty and bring it home? You got an aging Travis Kelce. They have an O-line that's young but not old. But the big question mark for me is, will the offense be lacking with Rice being out first? Rashid Rice being out for the first 6 games due to suspension. With the growing pace of this division, you got the Broncos on the uptick, the Chargers on the uptick, the Raiders making moves. Can they keep pace and with the growth in their division? I see them winning, but I think they had 14 of their 17 games last season was decided by 1 score. And then 6 of those games was by 1 point. Like, come on, y'all. Like, y'all got lucky with coming with so many dubs, but like these divisional games that are coming your way,
it's going to be a dogfight.
It's going to be a dogfight. I don't know if they're going to come with a dub every time if games are this close. These teams are getting younger, they're getting stacked. So can they keep pace with the growth? Next up, we got the Broncos, who's the team I'm most excited about. I'm excited to watch these Broncos, man. Sean Payton's in year 2.
With the Broncos?
Yeah. Year 3?
I believe 3.
I should have wrote that down, y'all. I'm sorry.
Wilson, yeah.
But I am so excited to see what he is building with this team. Some people said this would be a Saints 2.0. No, I think this is a young team that's aspiring for greatness, and I could see them taking the Chiefs out in the second half of the season. I can see that happening. I'm not going to say it right now, but I'm not going to put a stamp on it, but I'm ready to watch. They have the most upside, and they're the dangerous team coming into the season in the league. Can Bo Nix build on his success from last year and avoid the dreaded sophomore slump? Mm-hmm. The offense has got a new picture. They built in some pieces. They're really developing some continuity with their offense, but they need to come out strong. Most of their matchups, most of their wins last season were teams sub 500. All the teams plus 500, they suffered most of their losses and had a losing record. So can they win with these strong? Can they come out strong with matchups with teams that were plus 500 from last year? Next up is the Chargers. I'll tell you this right now. I'm not a Herbert fan. I think Herbert needs to go. Jim Harbaugh, do the right thing. Go find you a quarterback. You've inherited a guy that's making a lot of money, and I don't think he's the right for the team. I've said it. I will continue off my soapbox. Do they have enough this offseason to keep pace in the division? They have pieces. They have offensive weapons. Their O-line strength is a question mark with this team. Can they protect the quarterback? Can they open up pockets for the run game? Is a big question mark for this. And like I said, is Herbert the answer for this team? He's getting paid a lot of money. They have a really great coach. But is he going to get them over the hump? Is he going to be the leader that takes this team to the playoffs and makes a run? Your team's only as strong as the leader that you follow. And I don't know if Herbert is the guy. I'm just going to say it. And last but not least, the Vegas Raiders, the silver and black. They got one of my favorite coaches, Pete Carroll, man, 74 and kicking.
A young man.
This man is a young man in old man's body, okay? This man, I think he works harder on the treadmill than I do. And I'm postpartum and I try real hard. But this man could probably outrun me. But they've been in Vegas since 2020, and this is their fourth set of coaches. Fourth coaching staff. For context, y'all, they just finished paying their first coach that they brought with them to Vegas. 10 years. And they're almost done paying him off. Again, Pete Carroll, oldest coach in the league, but his energy will help grow this team. They also brought in Geno Smith, that Pete Carroll also was his quarterback when he was with the Seahawks. They have an Ashton Genty. They have Thornton. The big problem with this team is the defense. Is the defense strong enough to compete in the West? This West has a lot of heavy-hitting defensive teams. The Chargers have a good defense. The Broncos have a great defense. The Chiefs have a good enough defense. Their defense does great when they show up when they need to show up. They always have, ever since Andy Reid got there, they always show up when they need to show up. I'd say they're close to top 10, but when the playoffs kick and they got to turn that switch, they're number one. Can the Raiders do that? Max Crosby cannot be the end-all be-all of this team. They have to work on some of these missing gaps in this team to bring this defense to par with the rest of their division. And that is my West and my AFC in a nutshell.
All that I say, because I agree with you for us, we said Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. The only thing with you is this whole discourse over Justin Herbert. Now, I'll speak for myself. I call him Mr. Hypothetical. Everyone wants to put him in these categories. I don't believe he needs to be in. Like people, I saw a day. What was it? Mad Dog Russo had him top 5, but
no.
But remember, he had him top 5, but then he mentioned Jordan Love is in top 10 because of his lack of playoff success. Who would know about lack of playoff success more than Herbert? That's what Dak Prescott, obviously, right? But I'm saying, as far as like Justin Herbert. Again, he's a guy, solid, very good regular season quarterback. Throws a very beautiful ball. He does everything well. It's just that playoffs, it's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation. And to me, it's just that is what bothers me the most. Of like, it's one thing if you look one way in the regular season, and then say you're not quite as good in the playoffs. But you can't completely just flip the script. Where I believe he had 3 interceptions last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, if I remember correctly, in that playoff game, I think he threw 3. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't have that type of situation where like you're one of your 2 talents for that to happen. But just I don't know what that is. Like can he get over that hump? Is what I think. But I do think he's the guy.
Well,
you're not getting a quarterback.
NFL history shows most teams when they hire a new coach, they don't always keep the quarterback they inherit.
We're clipping this. They're not getting rid of Justin Herbert. Come on, man. Anyway, like I said, I do like that division. To me, the second most talented division in football. But with that, I got to go to the NFC West side. This is another fun division to watch as well. Niners, a team that had a very troubled year last year, in part of the injury, and they're still dealing with that in some ways. This season, Brandon Ayuk is supposed to miss the first 2 games of the season. I think he tore his ACL last year. So that's going to be interesting to see when he comes back and how good he'll be after that. But also just the losses of, say, Deebo Samuel. I think a guy like Christian McCaffrey, what does he have left? For people are wondering that as well. But I think he's a lot left in the tank. I think one bad year. I know they love to discount running back so much, but I believe in the guy. I think he's just too talented. Maybe even though not say the prime Christian McCaffrey anymore, I still think he's still one of the better running backs in this league. I can't wait to see him play again. But obviously Brock Purdy got paid. I think he's a guy who now is less of that game manager territory. I think he's going to take games over now. I mean, from the standpoint of just taking over that leadership role as far as like being more the reason why you win from your performance versus the performance of those around you, because you don't have to have the same amount of just weapons repertoire that you did before, because now you got the big contract and you earned it. I think with Brock Purdy, he didn't get enough credit to me because of the fact that like he saved Kyle Shanahan's job. I mean, you drafted Trevor Lawrence. Trey Lance. Excuse me. You drafted Trey Lance, and what was the 3rd overall pick? You drafted Trey Lance. Trey Lance. Excuse me. And the fact that what he became, not talk about enough a bust in this league.
Well, okay.
Go ahead.
Let's be fair here. The man got injured. And Brock Purdy came and saved the day. And they're like, you know what? We're going to run with Purdy, and we're going to trade you out.
But I'm saying, if you didn't have a Purdy who was what they call it, the last
Mr. Irrelevant.
Thank you, Mr. Irrelevant. If you didn't have a Purdy, you'd be in a dumpster fire right now. Because who would you have an answer for? Who'd be your answer at quarterback?
But then my question would be, if he had stayed, like, could Shanahan have developed him to be what he needed him to be? Because he did it with Colin Kaepernick.
But how did that turn out? Unfortunately.
Well, he didn't technically do it with Colin Kaepernick. Jim Harbaugh did it with Colin Kaepernick. But Colin Kaepernick was it.
But so you're saying how it ended up?
How it ended up, yes. Like, you can build guys to be what you need them to be in that moment.
Yeah, and
with that team. I feel like he could have done it with Trey Lance.
Absolutely not. Purdy to me, it was a big reason of why they've had the success they've had in the previous seasons.
Yeah.
Obviously, last year was very unfortunate with injuries, but I think this season, I got him winning the division. I think with them having one of the easiest schedules in the league, Purdy's going to step up. I think Christian McCaffrey hopefully he stays healthy. Obviously, that can be a bit of an if, but I think with him staying healthy, I think you still got enough pieces on both sides of the ball. Obviously, George Kittle, Fred Warner, guys like that you're still a very good team. They don't have necessarily the same ceiling they had before, where they were a Super Bowl caliber team, but definitely a playoff team. I got the Niners winning it, winning the NFC West. Second of all is the Rams, which are a very tricky team to me because I like them. Matt Stafford's one of the best quarterbacks in this league, but it's kind of concerns me when you're going into a season, and it's been kind of mysterious with his injuries. But Matt Stafford with his back injury, you're 37 years old. Backs don't get better. I feel my back, and I'm 30. I don't even play football. So I'm thinking, like, if you're 37 years old, a veteran quarterback in this league, that's a concern for me.
Mm-hmm.
I again, with the talent that they have, they almost beat the Eagles last year. If not for Jalen Carter pressure and Matt Stafford, the Rams potentially been Super Bowl champions. I think they're that good of a team, and they maintain a lot of their pieces last year. But that's my issue for them this year, where I just don't see with that being an issue already. I don't see them necessarily being a team that you can pick as being the most dangerous team in the NFC or the biggest threat to the Eagles, stuff like that. I had them originally after they had lost. Was like, oh man, that shit, that'll be tough. But because of that, I think that's gonna be a very interesting situation. I want to look out for that. Obviously, Sean McVay is a great head coach. We know what he's done, his track record. But that's my biggest concern for the Rams, and I want to see what they can do. Obviously, you get rid of, say, Cooper Kupp, ship him out to Seattle. You have Devontae Adams. I think it's going to be a very, really good receiving core. I don't think that gets talked about enough. Cooper Nakua and Devontae Adams, probably one of the best receiving duos in this league. Howard Williams, running back, really good, can get you a surplus touchdown. Just ask my fantasy team. So I'm excited to see what they can do, but I still think they'll be a tick below the Niners. Now, this is where I think also with the division it's interesting, because also with the two teams behind them, they have two very interesting situations, being the Arizona Cardinals and Seattle Seahawks. I guess I'll start first with the Cardinals. I think to me, Kyler Murray is a dude that like I could very conflicted with, because I think it's people talk so much about his talent, but to me he's so inconsistent, and like he's been in the league 7-8 years now. I just don't know if he's a guy that you really can believe that you can win a Super Bowl with anymore. Okay. Like I think if you're gonna pay a guy that much money, you should believe that you can accomplish some level of playoff success with him. And I just don't believe that you're gonna see that from a Kyler Murray. I don't. Obviously, you have good pieces in Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, one of the best tight ends in the league. But the defense also struggled last year. They were one of the most injured defenses last year. So you assume getting healthy. Obviously, you had Josh Sweat, some good pieces on defense to help you improve as well. But I think they're a team I see being third in that division. I would not put them ahead of the Niners or the Rams. And it's not entirely because of the quarterback. I don't think they're just not better than those teams. But of course, we'll see how that goes. But the team I think that is going to be in a very tough spot is the Seahawks. I think with the Seahawks, we talked a lot about the Sam Darnold conversation when they got rid of him. You thought the Vikings should have kept Sam Darnold.
Right? Yeah.
Now, I did not. We debated that, and I won that debate. Obviously, the Vikings did what I thought they would do. Yes, I won because the Vikings got rid of him. I told you they would. Anyway, the Vikings got rid of Sam Darnold.
Doesn't mean it was. Well, time will tell if it was the right decision.
You're right. Anyway, Sam Darnold being in Seattle, I think we're going to get a definite player regression. He was 35-10 last year. Had the double playoff game, which wasn't entirely his fault. He was sacked a bunch of times. He was assaulted. I can't blame quarterback entirely for that loss. But as far as him going to Seattle, not there's nothing wrong necessarily with him. I just feel like when you put a guy who has such talent around him in a place where he doesn't have that same amount of talent, I think you're just ripe for regression. Not that he'll have a bad season, you know what I'm saying? But I think you're not going to expect the Sam Darnold of the Vikings from last year. Mm-hmm. That's completely unfair to expect that. Even though I like Jack Smith and Jigba, I like Cooper Kupp now in Seattle. I hope he kind of bounces back with how the Rams, with how he finished his career with the Rams. He kind of was a forgotten piece. But I still think there's a lot left in his game than people will realize. I'm excited to see what he does this year. I'm rooting for him. But still, with Sam Darnold, I'm just not sure how high the expectation should be, especially in a tough division. So that's the player again I see regressing, but still, solid team. Yeah, Kenneth Walker, I'm excited. Brandon Kim to get back healthy as well. He missed some games last year. Had the backup running back, Zach, I believe, Charbonnet. Kim had a really, really good year. He looked like an RB1 as well in relief with Kenneth Walker. So with Kenneth Walker being back, obviously you should have a very tough run game with both those guys. But still, I still see Seattle being the worst in that division. What say you?
I would flip it personally. I would say Cardinals below the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. And hashtag second chance QBs rise up. Baker, Geno, and my man Sam Darnold, okay? Second chance QBs rise up. They're going to make the most of their second chances and rise up in this league.
So what is Sam Darnold doing this year?
He's going to keep this team at 500 or maybe even higher than that.
By making the playoffs?
I don't know about the playoffs time.
Exactly.
Well, they have a new head.
What are we talking about?
They have a second-year head coach. So, like. We'll see.
I'm saying you're talking about Sam Darnold made the playoffs last year.
Well, I'm saying as totality.
He's not going to make the playoffs this year. So
there's only 8 spots in the NFC.
He's not going to be in one. That's the point.
That's why I said time will tell. But I think this team could definitely stay 500.
We'll see. Hey, man, football's almost back, y'all. But before we let y'all go, I would love to get into the week 1 matchups and give y'all our picks.
Picks.
I won last year, by the way, y'all. We do picks every week. Last season, I won all the. I had more wins last year than she did, so I want to put that out there. I won. Go ahead. Sorry. Continue.
You know what? I'm gonna check the stats.
I won, right? Anyway, let's get to week 1. Okay.
Week 1. I got the schedule up. Mr. says he won last season. We'll see.
I won.
Anyway, week 1. We've got NFL kickoff game. Thursday night football. Our kids are sleeping, so I can't say anything too loud. But the Cowgirls and the Eagles. I am taking the Eagles, the home team, the Super Bowl winners. What say you?
For my fantasy bettors out there, I believe they will cover the spread. The last time I looked at the spread is 8.5. I think it'll be a little more competitive than that. But I definitely have Eagles winning. No shot. Obviously, no Michael Parsons. The run defense is still non-existent for the Cowboys. Even with Eddie Kenny Clark, I don't think it's gonna make a difference to stop Saquon. Even though I think Dak will put up some points as he always does. His stats will look nice, but he's not gonna win the game.
Right. Friday Night Lights, Friday Night Football, the international game in San Pablo, Brazil. We have the Chiefs and the Chargers. I say Chiefs, but I think this will be a very close competitive game. I think the Chiefs will come out on top. But I would not be surprised if the Chargers make this interesting and bring this to the wire and maybe even our first hint of overtime football. What say you?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna take the Chargers.
Okay.
That Rashee Rice loss, I think, is gonna be very interesting. I think if you're the Chargers, you need to capitalize on that and get a dub against the Chiefs early in the season. Obviously, this would be a home game for them if they weren't playing in Brazil. But I mean, I think this is a big year for Herbert, as you mentioned. I believe in him a lot more than you do. But I'll take them over the Chiefs in this one, actually.
Okay, we're split on that. Now we got Sunday daytime. We got the 1:00 games. First up, and there are a lot of divisional matchups. I think they said there's like 8 divisional matchups in week 1, the most in NFL history, which is
really
awesome. Speaking on that, we got Patriots and Jets. This is a
Patriots, Vegas. You mean Steelers, Jets? Which one are you looking at?
Oh, Steelers, Jets. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Sorry, y'all. I can't read. Steelers, Jets. We have the team. Was it Fields competing against his ex-team?
Aaron Rodgers back at MetLife. The return of Aaron Rodgers. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Get that off. Revenge game. Huh?
Okay.
Go ahead.
If you want to call it this a revenge game.
He's back. Go ahead.
Jets.
You got Jets winning week 1?
Yeah.
Hell no. Steelers taking that week 1. I don't think that's a good matchup for the Steelers for the Jets. Justin Fields in his first game. We now know it's his first home game. That's still the defense is tough to match up with week 1. They're an older defense, so their team out their defense I think that will regress later in the year as they did last year. But week 1, I don't want to deal with TJ Watt. I'm taking the Steelers.
Fields, go show them they should have paid you money. Next up, we have the New York Football Giants and our Commanders. I'm taking my team, taking the Commanders. What say you?
I say less. Commanders as well. Now, it will be a very competitive game, I think. Division matchups are usually competitive, especially in this division, the NFC East. But because of that defensive line in particular, I do think that they will cover, I believe the spread is 6.5. I think the Commanders will win a close one.
Okay. Next up, we have the Bucks and the Falcons. I'm going to take Baker in the Bucks. Yeah, I think. I'm going to take the Bucks. I like me some Baker.
I like Baker too. He's not winning this game though. Atlanta at home. No Chris Godwin. Obviously I mentioned the injuries to the Bucks receiving core. That to me is going to be an issue against what I think is going to be a very high scoring game, a shootout potentially. Definitely, I think it could be one of the best games of the week. Atlanta versus Tampa Bay, but I think at home in Atlanta, I think Michael Penix is going to cook. Hopefully, gets a touchdown. Drake London, he's going to parlay. Mm-hmm. But I got Falcons winning this one, and even though they are home underdog, which is very interesting to me.
All right. Next, we got the Battle of Ohio. We got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. Not much to talk about here. Go Joe Burrow. Bengals. What say you?
Just bet a Jamar Chase touchdown for your parlay to make it interesting for yourself. But yeah, again, not much to say here. Flacco starting. He's up against one of the worst defenses in the league, so I think he'll get some yardage. Jerry Jeudy might get some love and get in the end zone or something like that. But not much to talk about here. Even though the Bengals, y'all better start out the year strong. But I know. I don't know if you mentioned that all when we covered the Bengals.
I think I did say that
for the AFC North. But anyway, I was just mentioning it real quick for the Bengals. Yeah. You lost to the Patriots last year at home. So don't just assume that you can walk into Cleveland and just get a win just because they're a bad team too. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. Next we have the Miami Dolphins and the Indianapolis Colts. Even though I said I picked the Dolphins last in my AFC East division rankings, I had the Dolphins winning this game.
Same.
What say you?
The reason why you didn't mention the reason why you had them winning, but I think the reason is obvious. The reason why we're picking is Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting Daniel Jones in a home opener, on the road. I'm not trusting Daniel Jones. Now, real quick, it's unfortunate with Daniel Jones because he did win a starting job. He does deserve some credit for that. But outside of that,
are we giving him a lot of credit because Anthony Richardson was hurt? Are we giving him that much credit?
I mean, he was in a situation where not to give Daniel Jones too much credit.
It was his job to lose.
He lost. It
was him at the street.
He lost the job in New York. He was a clipboard holder on the Vikings. He came and fought for a starting job and won. Is it going to amount to anything? Not really. But again, the Colts put themselves in this position. Dolphins winning week 1.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next, we have the Carolina Panthers and Duval. I picked the Jaguars.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I got Panthers. I said I'm high on Bryce Young. I feel like he doesn't get a lot of talk. Despite being the number 1 overall pick not too long ago. I think this is part of that again. Continuing from late last year, close season off strong. I think Bryce Young is going to go into Jacksonville, and have a really good performance, get a win.
Okay. Next, we have the Vegas Raiders and the New England Patriots. I'm actually going to take the Patriots in this game. What about you?
Now, to make it interesting, I might split this game with you because I'm not sure with this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
It's tough because they're 2 new look teams. Both have new head coaches. Drake May was here last year, but still he's a young quarterback. Geno Smith is a veteran quarterback who's just in a new situation. But again, they both have a lot of new pieces. I'll go against you to take the Raiders.
Okay. All right. And the final game in the 1 o'clock window is the Arizona Cardinals and the New Orleans Saints. Hopefully y'all have red zone. I guess I'll take Kyler. I'll take the Cards. What say you?
The initials are NO because I would know I would not be watching this game. Arizona Cardinals. To make it interesting, just bet a James Conner touchdown because the Saints are going to get ran all over because they have the lead. The Cardinals have the lead the whole game. Cardinals.
All right. Now in the 4 o'clock window, we have the Titans and the Broncos. Broncos are home in the great state of Colorado. Taking Bengals. Broncos. Jeez. Louise.
You're tired. It's okay. Cam Ward's first start, a very tough matchup for a rookie quarterback to face such a tough defense on the road. Broncos should win this one pretty handily.
All right. The Niners and the Seahawks. Taking the Niners. Just Christian McCaffrey. Get the job done.
Oh, you're not taking your boy Sam. I'm not surprised. And I agree. I'm taking the Niners to win this divisional matchup on the road. They always play Seattle tough. They're always 2 tough matchups when they match up against each other. But again, Niners, Christian McCaffrey should have a bounce back game after what happened last season. Niners.
Insulting. In any event. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers, the Cheeseheads. I rock with the Lions. Bring back. Let's start this playoff run out strong. Let's get this regular season over with. Let's rack up these wins, get some playoffs. Lions.
Sound like a Lions fan. Your dad's a Lions fan, not you.
It's in my DNA.
Anyway, for this one, this is gonna be a very good game. I mean, this is one. I love the Sunday match that we have, but man, I wouldn't be minded if this got in the primetime slot too. Detroit Green Bay is always a fun game to watch, but with the addition of Micah Parsons,
if he plays,
if he plays,
as of this recording, we have not heard if he's getting back injections to play on Sunday. So
you're right. I don't know, man. I'm going to take the Packers in this one.
Okay.
I think they'll split. That's why I said. I think Green Bay will win at home. Detroit will win at home. I got Green Bay in this one.
All right. Final game in the 4:00 window. We have the Houston Texans and the Los Angeles Rams.
Let's see you.
Don't take my line. I'm going to take the Rams in this game. I think their defense will definitely slow the pace of C.J. Stroud and his offense, and I think it's going to take them a minute. I can see them having a slower start to the season to get their pieces a little bit more aligned.
My concern for the Texans and why I am picking the Rams is honestly because how is the rushing attack going to work? I think with C.J. Stroud, you're putting a lot of pressure on him, especially with the O-line struggles that they're going to have most likely because you trade Laramie Tunsil. Not only did they did enough to improve that offensive line, and plus you give them a poor rushing attack if you're getting Nick Chubb, solid back, but no Joe Mixon for at least the first 4 games. Let's see how that's going to go. I think that pass rush is going to attack C.J. Stroud heavy and make it tough for him. I got Rams in this one.
All right. And now the first Sunday night football of the season. We have a glorious matchup of league MVPs. We've got the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
I got Haley Steinfeld's husband. I got the Bills.
Well, and like Haley Steinfeld, you're a center. I'm taking the Ravens. Mark Andrews will catch the ball this time.
Don't do that.
I got the Ravens. No, I'm saying he will catch the ball. Ravens.
Why are you gonna bring up bad juju?
He'll catch it this time. He's not gonna drop it. Ravens winning.
Watch, guys. He's gonna jinx Mark Andrews. He's gonna drop a ball, and it's his fault.
I got the Ravens winning the game.
But you just talked about.
You picked against the Ravens.
Yeah, but you talked about. I didn't even bring that up. You talked about bad juju, and you're bringing up the Ravens. I'm gonna pick the Ravens.
He'll catch it this time and they'll win. How about that? Happy. Anyway, pick the last game.
I will. Don't rush me.
Please.
And now, Monday Night Football. We have the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. I am picking the Bears.
Honestly, I gotta agree with you. It doesn't happen often when it comes to football.
It does not.
J.J. McCarthy first start Monday Night Football on the road. It's going to be a lot of pressure, despite having a lot of talent around him, like I mentioned earlier. I got to take Bears. I'm excited because I want to see what this Ben Johnson team has. I mean, I think with the Caleb Williams, a lot of hype around him this year with Ben Johnson, and I want to see if we can show it against a tough opponent at home.
All right, and that concludes the Week 1 game matchups for the week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, my special guest, for coming on the show. My wonderful wife and sports contributor when it comes to anything football. You always give me great topics to discuss. You're always
and the inspiration behind some of his articles, y'all. I won't say all of them. Some of them are the inspiration.
I was going to credit you saying that you are a very healthy debater. I always know when it comes to talking football, I never have to go forward to find someone to debate my ideas on or my points on because she knows her stuff. I'll give her credit. She knows her stuff.
Yeah, I took several seats to let him shine. This is his show, but I do know my stuff. Thank you very much.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. It's just a very fun episode. Looking forward to this NFL season. I'm very excited. Football is back. As far as this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Wilson Way Sports Talk, and we'll catch y'all again next time. See y'all soon. Peace.